Hey guys! Okay, so today I have a project for you that is super simple. It takes very little material and next to no equipment. So I think everyone is going to like this one because I actually grew up on the game Crib. And if you haven't played it, it is really time that you get to know Crib. So in this lesson this week, I'm actually going to be including a couple different things this week. First of all, I'm going to be including the template for Crib for you to print out and make your own Crib game. And then I'm also going to be including the rules to Crib so that you can actually learn how to play it. So let's get on with it. Let's make something. Before moving on to any of the equipment or using any tools, please make sure to be careful and get your glasses, your safety glasses on, wear them at all times, put your hair up, and be safe. Please do not attempt to use equipment that you have not ever used before. It is very important that you have a parent or guardian with you at all times, and this is a great project to actually do together with your family. So please be careful, go slow, be safe, but have fun. So the next thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to go and print off the template, the Crib template that I included in your lesson plan. If you didn't get that or you can't find it, just email me and I'll make sure I get it to you. You need to be finding a piece of wood that is going to be the same size or just a little bit bigger than the template. The template that I have given you, or that maybe you'll want to use, is 4 inches wide. So what I've done is I've added a 1/2 inch on each side to make my piece of wood about a 1/2 inch bigger on each side. So if this is 4 inches, my piece of wood needs to be about 5 inches. If your piece of wood is exactly the same size as your template, that's great too. It really doesn't matter. So what I'm going to be using today is a piece of old walnut that I just happened to have around that we were doing some power carving on. So what I've done is I've taken my template and I've sized it on my board. This does not have to be pure wood. It can be plywood. It could be any old flooring, fence boards, anything really that you have laying around. Please feel free to be as creative as possible. So I'm sizing my piece to the walnut. You'll actually see that I've added a line. There's a line here and a line here. So this is actually a piece that I'm going to be cutting out of the walnut. Now, before I did that, I finished the power carving and I just kind of gave the front a little bit of texture. You guys can do whatever you want to the front of your board to match your style, really. So I'm going to now that I got that sized, my piece is 5 inches wide, and I forgot to measure how long that I made it. And I made it about 13 3/4, okay? So sometimes the pieces of wood that you find might be a little bit bigger. Maybe they're gigantic pieces and you don't want to use that Crib template. You can always go online and research Crib templates and print off any of them that you want. This week's lesson has minimal things that you need. You need wood, you need a drill bit, you need a drill, okay? So it's going to be fun, it's going to be easy. Couple things really quickly before I move on and I show you the cutting it. If you need to cut your wood down to size, there's a couple things that you can do. First thing you can do is you can have a good old saw, okay? Go back to hand tools. It is very efficient, very fast. Use a hand tool, okay? Use your saw to cut that piece of wood out. Most people will have a saw around. Second thing that you could do is use a jigsaw. I'm going to be using a jigsaw because it is really nice and portable and I can use it right here in my garage. And maybe a couple of you have access to a bandsaw, and you could use a bandsaw as well. My bandsaw is in another building and it's a little rusty, so I'm going to be using the jigsaw today. When you are cutting, please make sure that it is clamped down to your table and it is not going to move. Let's get at it. we are going to do before we even start is we're going to decide what we want the finished product to look like. There are a couple different finishes that we can put on our crib board so that it looks beautiful, that it brings out that natural grain, but also that it may be also protected for time. So I have a couple different ones for you to consider. There is a spray finish, so you can get this at any Canadian Tire, Westrams, that kind of thing. You can choose from a gloss, semi-gloss, or a satin it just kind of sprays nicely over your board, giving it a little bit of hardness and protecting, as well as a little bit of shine if you want it to as well. This is not going to change the color of your wood or bring out your grain dramatically, but it's a really, really good option for that. You could also use an oil. So this one is, this is one of my favorites. It's a walrus oil. It's not made from walruses. It's actually an all vegan oil that's really amazing for cutting boards. So this is going to keep that, that original feel of wood while popping the grain and bringing out those beautiful, beautiful colors in the wood. This one is the one that I'm going to use on my cutting board. You could also, if you don't like the color of your wood or you want to do something a little bit more dramatic, you could use a stain. So this is going to change the color of your wood for your crib. There is millions of different colors that you can check out. This one here is a dark walnut. This one is my absolute favorite of all of the stain colors. So when you're using this, remember to read the directions and clean up properly. Don't leave any stain rags in your garage or around. Those need to go out to the garbage right away, as well as please use gloves and glasses when using it. Pretty much, I shouldn't say that. I should say for all of these, please make sure you're wearing gloves and glasses. There's also rub-on oils, like this one is one of my favorite it has a curing agent in it, which is actually going to harden our wood while popping those beautiful natural colors in our wood. I'm not going to use Odie's oil on the crib board because it might get into the tiny little holes. So which is why I'm going to use a more of a liquid oil like my walrus oil. So feel free to use whatever one that you want to use for this project, and let's get going. That is it. We are done. I've got my finish on it, got all my holes. Now the only thing left to do is learn how to play it. So go ahead, get into the links, go into your lesson plan and find the set of instructions that I have attached to play this. The best thing that you can use for your game pieces for this size that we've used is toothpicks. So just to take a sharp knife and cut apart a couple toothpicks, paint them different colors, and bam, you've got your work pieces. So I cannot wait to see your guys's. Make sure that you send them in to me to get your badge of the week. I'll see you later.